show we adore. From the heart of Perth to the world beyond, let's hear your roar. Perth Swan Cricket, let's make it clear. The community sports show brings us the cheer. Batting, bowling and fielding with flair. Each game is a story for the players out there. Riding the highs, embracing the lows with passion and pride. That's how this game flows. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Hey! Breakdown of the action, listen to the crowd. Cheers for the wicket, oh, they're screaming loud. Cricket's not just a game, it's a sight to behold. Stories of legends, both young and the old. No matter the grade, we cover it all. With every wicket taken, we rise and we fall. Across the grounds of Perth, we gather and share memories of triumph, skill, and the players' great flair. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Hey, hey. Hey. Together we rise, united and strong. With every strap pulled tight, we all sing along. Commentary electric with stories that soar. This week's highlights leave us hungry for more. Catching every moment, we live for the fight. Every player's battle, our hearts feel it right. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us, let's take a peek. Don't miss the show for all that's exciting, the hype and the glow. Thanks to the sponsors who believe in the game. Your support and pride have earned you the fame. To Perth and beyond, we're proud to declare the PSCA Review Show is tops everywhere. With bats and with balls, we're ready to roll. Join in the action, come and feel the soul.
As the clock ticks over to 7 o'clock, it is Friday night, and once again you're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live from the Community Sports Show studio for week 17 of the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association Review Show. And I've left the lights off, not because I'm not good looking, although that could be a reason. Because it's pretty warm here in the studio, so big welcome to you all wherever you are this country and across the globe, experiencing both weather and sociological challenges at the moment. So wherever you are, I hope you're doing okay and are safe and with those that love you. All right, well, a big welcome to you all. If you're new followers, a big thanks for joining our community. And a big thank you to all the clubs who are sharing these feeds as well. My name, if you don't know, is Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and this broadcast is brought to you thanks to Intersport Slater Gartrell and our platinum sponsors, ID Athletic, for all your sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise, and Vision Decor, curtains, blinds, awnings, and even hybrid floorings. All right, well, I'm going to change it up a little bit this week. I said I'm going to fly solo. I am going to do exactly that because we've got plenty to get through finals just around the corner. We'll be back with a studio guest next week, trying to line up someone from the association. So Peasy, you're on notice, or Fridge. But over the last couple of weeks, we as an association have been part of the Think Mental Health round by Cricket WA, and a big thanks once again to Swanview, Bullsbrook, Maylands, Belmont, Hawke's Punjabi, West Coast, Caversham, Allenbrook, Middle Swan and Mount Lawley Inglewood for your contributions. And before we get into the show, let's just take a moment to recognise that it's important to have people around you and all those who took part in the Think Mental Health.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking at my hand and it's steady, I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending, now I'm spreading and getting my name out now, yeah they hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound, I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing, yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100, cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something, I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan, I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man, every single drop got me feeling awesome, I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah, I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive, I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want in life.
Don't caught me. Almost saw my bald spot there, but you didn't. Welcome back, and thanks once again to everyone involved in the Think Mental Health round over the last 2 weeks of the competition. Awesome job, and please everyone, understand that it's okay to not be okay. I've been honest about my journey, and certainly it's not always easy, but it's made easier when you can talk to someone or someone has your ear. So please take care out there. All right, now speaking of taking care, one of the clubs that took part was Caversham Dayton, and their president is in under the knife. Snip. No, it's not a snip. That'll start all sorts of different rumours. Big shout out to you, Steve. I hope you're on the mend soon and back up and out and about. Congratulations to one of our commentators, Michael Fox. He's bringing up a half century today. Congratulations, Foxy. Well done to Ascot for bringing up their 30th anniversary last weekend. Judging by all those pictures, lots of good times were had into the very small hours of the morning by the look of some of them. And well done to Belmont as well for their past Players' Day last week. And thanks to Dave Mason for joining me here in the studio as the co-host last week. Great job, mate. All right, and speaking of on the mend, I hope Daniel's on the mend as well. All right, before we get into it, one last thing. Congratulations to Muhammad Ali Dadurka, the president of Mount Lawley Inglewood, on taking out the Cricket WA Volunteer of the Month award for January. Well done there, Mohammed. And congratulations to Paul Fernie, Swan View and Coolbinia West Perth for their nominations or their graduation to the finals of the Kookaburra Community Cricket WA Awards. Best of luck to you all as we get into it. Just be aware there's a few lurgies. I think a few teams might have been suffering from something in the air last week. You'll see what I mean as we make our way through. And you will also see that during our 2 tea breaks, or drinks breaks I should say, make sure you stick with us because we've got a couple of Joey's Swan Valley Diner vouchers to give away on the show tonight, and one of those could be yours just for being a part of the action here tonight. All right, let's get into it. As we do every week, we go through every grade, list batting performances above 30 and sometimes bowling performances above 30, as well as threefers and above, and we've got the All-Stars to look at. I'll tell you what, I'm going crazy looking at those All-Stars. Good to see you online there, Weasel. Good to have you with us, mate. Okay, so let's get into it. It was day 2 of the first grade competition last week, their penultimate game, and Swan View were 2 for 90 off 24, chasing 178 for victory, while they ended up on 7 for 233 off 69 to see out the day there. Carlisle put on 136 off 43 day 1 and had Les Murdy Mazenod in all sorts of trouble at 6 for 79 before they rallied to actually get the win. So well done there, Les Murdy Mazenod. 147 off 62 there. Carlisle then going in again, having another crack, and it wasn't to be. 4 for 173 off 32 in their second. So a great gutsy win there by Les Murdy Mazenod. The Kookaburras getting up. SKLP, well, they were in a strong position. 249 off 80. Forestfield put on 149 off 61, so they batted out 60 before SKLP went in again and tried to get some cheeky runs. I'm not sure it worked out to their advantage. 8 for 78. Batting mentions in week 2, we saw Trent Kinley with 82, Aidan McCartan with 39 off 125, and Alan Anthony 31 not out, all for Swan View there. Nick Daxter had 41 not out for Les Murdy Mazenod off 81, batting at 8, so really Dax there carrying the Kookaburras through to victory. Brendan Philpott had 64, Alex Bastable had 43 not out there for the Red Dogs, while Brody Cover had 67 and Scott Witzke 37 for the Hawks. Pleasingly, with the Golden Duck Award coming up in a couple of weeks' time at the association wind-up, that is literally just 4 weeks away, no Golden Ducks in first grade. Well done there. Best of the bowlers, Dave Thomason with 5 for 30 off 15. James Alexander put himself in contention. I've seen he's sitting high up in the bowling stats there. He had 4 for 37 and a good performance by Matt Zappacosta, who backed up backed up the previous week and ended up with 12 for 114, 4 for 39 on day 2. Well done there, Matt. Nitin Jasani, he had 3 for 17, and Ryan Lynch rounding out the bowling mentions with 3 for 53. Good to see you there, Scotty Hall. He did feature in the picture tonight, came in earlier this afternoon to pick up a prize that's been sitting there for him, and he also picked up one for his Ascot teammate there, Luke Pushkitchner. And I have to tell you, viewers, I've got to my left here a bucket load, well, it's a big bucket, but 6 prizes to give away that are outstanding. Plus, I'll run through all the Joey's Swan Valley Diner vouchers that I got in my hot little hands here that also need to be collected before they expire, and that would be a tragedy because Joey's Swan Valley Diner. Yum. All right, let's have a look at the ladder. It is going to be Swan View taking out the minor premierships, and we're in a position to actually call a few of those here tonight. Congratulations, Swan View. SKLP and Bayswater both on 6 and 5, trying to battle it out for the other home final there. Carlisle should take 4th. They've got 5 wins and are 7 points ahead of a late resurging Les Murdy Mazenod. And unfortunately for Les Murdy Mazenod, I suspect this is where the run will stop because they're against ladder leaders Swan View in the final round over the next 2 weeks. Bayswater take on Forestfield. That'll be a big one there. Bayswater looking to try and leapfrog SKLP, who have Carlisle. So Carlisle looking to stay in 4th and secure that. SKLP looking to take 2nd ahead of Bayswater. So either Bayswater or SKLP will go into the final round sitting in 2nd. All right, speaking of 2nd grade. Allenbrook put on 224 off their opening 63 and had Caversham 4 for 15 off 8 overs before the Crusaders rallied, but not quite as much as my brain has gone, whoever played Carlisle, and I should remember that because of course it was Les Murdy Mazenod. But putting on 100 there, 4 for 15 off 8 to 100 off 49, no play there after that. Ascot were 2 for 25 off 11, chasing Uni's 122, so they needed less than a ton, and they finished with 7 for 128, so got there in the end, University, with 66 overs in the bag. Neither match seen a second innings there, and SKLP enjoying their last 2 weekends off. In the batting mentions, just one really. Well, this is not really a batting mention. I'll do it in this order. Dave Catania with 30 for Ascot was the only week 2 batting mentions. Well done there, Dave. However, Ryland Cannell had 64 in week 1, had 4 for 4 off 4 in week 1, before ending his bowling spell on day 2 with 6 for 12. So well done there, Ryland. No other bowling mentions, but there were a lot of 2-fers, but you've got to get a 3-fer to get a mention here. 2 Golden Ducks, and these are becoming very critical at the moment. Caversham and Ascot both with 1 each there. Allenbrook lead on 70. They should take out the minor premiership. Ascot have 58, Caversham on 46 with SKLP on 32, and Uni looking to just play the spoiler role here. But unfortunately for them, they take on Allenbrook, top of the table. That's going to be a tough ask for the students. Allenbrook should seal the minor premiership there. SKLP will take on Caversham to try and take 3rd place. Not that it actually will affect their place as such, but who they play in the finals. And Ascot will just have to sit it out and watch and see what happens. The power is no longer in your hand, Ascot. All right, 3rd grade. Let's have a look at the final 2-day grade before we have our first break. Bayswater went from 2 for 42 off 27 to a confident 9 declared for 146 off 75 to top SKLP's 81 off 42, and then SKLP having a second dig being 1 for 69. Les Murdy Mazenod, the Kookaburras, well, they were up and about. They were in full song last week. They had 8 for 282 off their overs on day 1, and that was enough to defeat Ascot 7 for 211, who at least batted out their 70. Uni were in trouble at 4 for 6, chasing off 10, I should say, chasing 6 for 287 declared by Swan View, And another rally here. I love seeing this stuff. This is the stuff that will get teams and players into the All-Stars. As DC Darren Chandler joins us, welcome mate. Those efforts by those grades where they've been at 4 for 10, chasing 287, fighting to get to 134, that's what is being looked at the moment in the All-Stars. And Ryan Kovalev's, well, he put himself in contention there. He had 84 not out off 137, batting at 7 for uni, so really rallying the side there, Ryan. Matt Dowsett had 55 not out. Todd Sessions, 54 not out. Also love seeing not outs. And Matt with his at 9, and Todd, I should say, off 133 balls there. Jason Paletti had 42 for Ascot. Harshit Katani had 38 not out, while Riley Searle gets a mention, but only just, with 30 not out. Sadly for third grade, there were 4 Goldens, 2 to Bayswater. What's going on there, Postals? Ascot had 1 and Uni as well. Mayur Hirani had the best of the bowling figures with 6 for 39 off 28. Mitch Turner had 3 for 55. And then for Swanview, it really was a dominant performance here. Reece Knowles had 3 for none off 5 before ending on 4 for 46. So that was really 1 for 46, Reece. While Mr. 9 for Kirk Loam had 1 for 2 and ended up on 2 for 9. So strong starts by the bowlers for Swanview, couldn't quite finish it off. Swanview though, well, speaking of finishing it off, they're 20 points ahead on 9 wins. Again, can't quite call this one yet, but I suspect they'll get the minor premiership call next week. That is Swanview. SKLP have 8. They will definitely be the top 2 in third grade. Bayswater sit third. They're on 61 points, 7 ahead of Ascot, who are in fourth, and will take fourth place ahead of Les Murdy, Mazenod and University, who both have 2 wins for the season. Speaking of winning, well, Bayswater need to manage to hold third place this week, and they're up against ladder leaders Swanview, so tough ask there. Ascot have a game against Uni, so they'd go in there confident, but don't go overconfident. And SKLP up against Les Murdy Mazenod as more people join us online. Thanks to you all, wherever you are, for being a part of the show here tonight with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. And it's number, as the sign says there, number 18. Hard to believe, just a couple of weeks left to go, 3 in fact, until we're in wind-up and grand final mode. And I'm already looking at the awards and all of those things, so plenty to get through in the next couple of weeks. And we will start to go incognito. You won't know next week who's it where, because we won't tell you. But right now, you know you're here on the Community Sports Show, and it is time for our first drinks break. And what I said is that each drinks break, I have a Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher to give away. During this break, when I come back, I'll give you a couple of minutes here. When I come back, jump on the Facebook comments and tell me which AFL club I barrack for. It's pretty simple. Quite transparent. They're brown and gold. They're the best side, and they are going to be the premiers this year, because our footy tipping's on as we go for the break. Just a reminder, if you want to join our footy tipping, there is a post on our page. Few spots left. I'll be closing that off over the weekend. If you're a tipping person, jump on there. But for now, tell me who I barrack for to win. Well, you'll go in the... If there's a lot of you, I'll actually look at how many I can give away. But for now, we'll take a break and be back in just a moment here on the Community Sports Show. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, one and all. And a big welcome if you're just joining me. You're here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show for week 18 of the Perth Swan Cricket Association season this year. And it's me, Noel Nosey Johnston, proud to be bringing you every game, every grade, and all the information you need to know. Now, before we went to that first drinks break, I asked you a question about which AFL club I barrack for and have done since I was a very little fella. In fact, Jeevan West Coast Eagles, no, sorry mate. The winner, and the only correct answer that I can see on either the Perth Swan or the Community Sports Show comments there, is Wayne Sowden. I am a proud Hawthorn man and always will be. So Souds, I've stuck your name on the back of this. I'll add it to my collection of Joey's Swan Valley Diner vouchers to be collected and used, because there's only a month left on them. So you want to get those as soon as you can. All right, well, here we go. It's time to have a look at the one-dayers, and as we get into the Vision Day Corps one-day A grade, all I have on my notes here from my research assistant is the words just wow. So let's have a look at why it is wow. Coolbinia, West Perth, 5 for 96 off 20. Well, they got up over their neighbours Yoko and Pilbara, who had 9 for 76 off 27. It's a nice early knock-off there for the guys at Yoko and Pilbara. And Scarborough had 52 off 33 before they fell to Dianella, 2 for 53 off 20. So four sides there, no score above 100. Helena Valley then went, well, we'll put on 8 for 206 off our 40, and then fell to Caversham, 6 for 207 off 38. Jeevan Preet and the gang there doing the damage. And then I had Scott, I mentioned before, I had Scott in the studio here earlier today, and he saw these notes on camera or on screen, and he said, what, really? Because, yep, another draw. Hawks Punjabi, 188 off 39.3, batting second, drew with Mount Lawley Inglewood, who were 7 for 188 off 40 overs. So 3 balls to spare there for Hawks Punjabi, and they just couldn't quite get it done. But there were still some good batting performances across everyone there. And we'll kick it off with Ash Yadav. He had 70 not out. Sandeep Prashar with 64. Glenn Welton and Jeevan Preet Singh. Unlucky there on the guess there, Jeevan Preet, but that's thanks for being a part. He had 49. Dave Washbourne had 46. Sahil Doug with 45. Arash Sandhu 41. And a special mention here, because it's in brown, it's a good effort, and I rate these sort of things. Mike Denon, 40 off 40, 40 not out, off 40, batting at 10 and taking 2 for 65. And unfortunately, that wasn't enough to get his side over the line. Govinda Bra had 39 with the bat and took 3 for 32, while Manny Singh of Helena Valley and Krishna Dana Singh both had 36. Connor Smith had 30 not out for the Demons. 2 Goldens, Helena Valley and Mount Lawley Inglewood adding to their collection. Always good to see. Right now, let's have a look here, because there are a few bowling mentions. Best of them, though, has to be Anthony Hupping of Dianella. He had 5 for 9 off 7 overs there, while Dianella's keeper Tim Durrell taking 5 wicket-keeper catches. And wicket-keeper catches are part of what I'm looking at across the All-Stars, Association All-Stars, and I started looking at the keepers across every grade. So Tim, I saw you. train. That is Trent George Kennedy of Coolbinia, West Perth. He had 3 for 22. Jake Truan took 3 for 29 and had 69 off the bat, batting at 1 for Mount Lawley Inglewood, while Archie Kirkpatrick Taylor had 3 for 35 and Gobinder Singh 3 for 40. Caversham have taken out the minor premiership here. Congratulations to Jeevanpreet, Gargan, Sky and all the guys there, Sandy and everyone, taking out the minor premiership, guaranteeing themselves a home final. And then it's a bit of a battle. Looking at the points, we've got Dianella on 60, Hawke's Punjabi on 57, and Helena Valley on 54. So it'll be out of those three sides, as please don't notice that I held up 4 fingers there. Stay in school, kids. It'll be between Dianella, Hawke's Punjabi and Helena Valley. If Dianella go down, and well, they shouldn't, but Yokai and Pilbara can spoil their party. Hawke's Punjabi taking on Helena Valley. So if Yokai and Pilbara can get up over Dianella, and even if Helena Valley actually get the win there, they'll jump into second place with the better points there. Out Mount Lawley, Inglewood, Scarborough, Coolbinia and Yokai and Pilbara. I sound like an auctioneer, 1, 2, 3. But, well, may he rest in peace. My dad was an actual auctioneer. So maybe that's where I get the talking from. Or Mum running the Collingwood Cheer Squad. I'm not quite sure. That's definitely where I get my loudness from. And speaking of Mum, a big shout out to her grandniece, my niece, little Nakaya Ridgway. Happy birthday to Nikki, or Nakaya. She's 7 today. Foxy brought up his half century. Big congratulations to you all. Steve Abbott back on the men. Good to have you with us there, Steve. All right, games this week. Mount Lawley Inglewood taking on Caversham. Really, that'll be a tough one. Caversham should get the win at Hamer Park there. As I mentioned, Hawke's Punjabi taking on Helena Valley. Really in a battle for third, potentially second. So we'll see what comes of that. Yokai up against Dianella. And in the final match, it is Scarborough taking on Coolbinia West Perth to try and just stay up off that tail of the table there. In the B grade, once again I had A grade say just wow. Here for B grade it says some great games and some great efforts. Let's have a look. Glen Forest, 4 for 207, probably one of their best efforts of the season. Saw out their 40 overs, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Going down to Hawke's Punjabi, a strong effort there, 3 for 208. Get this, off 23 overs. Mundaring, well, they've come into form at the wrong end of the season there, but good to have you with us there, Mundaring, and good to have Jeff Grisnick there. Jeff, I loved you in all the photos there at Ascot's 30th. Looked like you had a good time. But Mundaring had a good time as well. They 3 for 126 in 24 overs, defeating Southern Rossmoyne, who put on 123. West Coast, well, big one here in terms of final placements. West Coast, 8 for 190 off 40. Fell to Caversham, 212 in 39. Midland, a very big score here, 8 for 238. The second best score of the round in B grade. Unfortunately, the best goes to Brabham, who bounced back and showed that they're not to be messed around with, putting on. And this, I think, is a season high. I'd have to go through, and I have semi-officially, I'm going to have an official community sports show PCS or PSCA statistician next year. who'll be able to tell me info like this, but I believe it's our season high. Brabham in 40 overs. I haven't seen this since I captained Middle Swan. Brabham 6 for 374. Good effort there to you both, to you all, but they were led in no small part by the two people I'm about to mention. Kanwar Gill opened up and had 143 at 1, 5 fours and 14 sixes to get 104 of his 143 in boundaries for the races, while Saeed Alam staked a claim for all-star status as well. He had 122 4 fours and 16 sixes, 15 sixes, sorry, I'm giving you too much credit there, Syed, for 106 off the boundaries, and if you don't mind, Saeed chipped in with 1 for 30 as well. Well, they're both impressive, as is Muhammad Russ's 90 off 44, 74 of those off the boundary, batting at 2 for for the Hawks. Will Maddock had 82 not out at 3 for Glen Forest. Able to hang around there, Will. Well done. Rick Muckleston had 77 off 87 for the Coasters. While AJ Stryden, he's been in some good form lately. He had 60 not out. Mangi Bra had 55 not out. The bloke that just continues to give, Rob Coverley, 48 for Midland. Vijay Kanwar, 47. Ryan Wilson and Muhsin Ali both had 45. Nitin Sachdeva, 42. Ryan West, 41 not out. While, get this, Brad Saunders, Siddharth Eden Marani, and both had 40 there, and Lockie Walter with 30 not out. Pair of Goldens, one to West Coast and one to Cavish, bad luck, Stevie. Ryan Leonard had 4 for 41. Rhino just continuing to add to his 800 collection there. I suspect that's 810 or thereabouts. Riley Maturo had 3 for 19. Ronan Leonard 3 for 21. Xavier House getting a mention from Mundaring. He had 3 for 32. Jag Danoa 3 for 36. And Jay Hyatt in that big knock by Brabham chipped away. He had 3 for 71. And Bailey O'Keefe, well, didn't get a bowling mention this week, Bailey. Didn't get a batting mention either. So he said, heck, what the heck? I'll catch 4 out in the field. So still, well done, Bailey there. Well, there's no denying who the minor premiers of B grade are. They've been strong all year. They've been here in the show. They've enjoyed themselves. And Brabham will take out the minor premiership for B grade with 14 wins, unassailable lead there. While Caversham should finish second. They're on 11. Hawks Punjabi 9-5-1 and West Coast 9-6. While Midland have a sniff. They're on 8-7. Out will be Mundaring, Southern Rossmoyne and Glen Forest. Well, I wouldn't exactly say there's a match of the week this week in B grade. They're all pretty comparable. Glen Forest against Southern Rossmoyne there. Battle for the spoon maybe. Mundaring versus Hawks Punjabi. Mundaring with the chance to spoil Hawks Punjabi's party there. Mundaring, as I said, chance to spoil Hawks Punjabi. Caversham up against Midland. That's a big one there. Midland, if they want to stay in the hunt, need to get a win on the road. And West Coast, well, they're at home. They're sitting fourth, but they're up against Brabham. So a big day out for the West Coasters. And I hope, and I say this with a smile, West Coast, as you take all your gear in all those assorted non-cricket bag items, just remember which is your bag or your not bag. when you get done at the end of the day. All right, and that's an example of just how entertaining West Coast are. G'day, Mark. Big shout out to all those at Ulster and Ragley, as well as Stanford Lee Hope and all the overseas clubs. A big welcome to you. Warm here today, cooler tomorrow. That's why I've got the lights off. I'm sort of hiding in the dark to try and keep the cool. Good to see you there. Welcome to Jean as well. All right, let's have a look at C grade. Oh dear, battle for fourth. It was another classic game, but let's wait on that. Brabham 155. They fell to SKLP 222 off 40. Bullsbrook did it easily against Caversham, who seem to have fallen in a hole of late. 3 for 67, Bullsbrook off 20 overs. It was an early day because Caversham could only put on 63 off 22. So done by afternoon tea time there. Nice one if you're the umpire. If they had an umpire up there. Forestfield put on 88 off 32. And lost, so no surprises there, I suppose. 88. Helena Valley, though, made it interesting. Lost 6, but they put on 131 off their 20. And then Middle Swan, 7 for 140 off 20 was enough to beat a struggling Carlisle, all out for 90 off 36. Sorry to tell you that news there, Mark. And good to see you're going well. All right, let's have a look at the batting mentions in C grade. Dhruv Gopal, he had 63, I should say. My dyslexic eyes putting those numbers back to front. Middle Swans, hot new recruit Noah Critter White, he had 62. Dan Foster had 48. Manpreet Dillon 47. Brandon Girardi chipped in with 44 for the Bulls. Nishik Karai with 35. And unfortunately, given the score lines, it's probably not a surprise, but no Caversham, Carlisle or Forestfield batting mentions. But despite the low scores and the no batting mentions, no Golden Ducks listed in C grade last week, so you take your pluses where you find them. Speaking of pluses, Ryan Twist, well, he's in our intro video these days. He had 6 for 23. Harsh bat, 5 for 40. Michael Kukero chipped in with 4 for 17 for the Raiders. Brett Reinholdston just hanging on to his Association All-Star spot at the moment. He had 3 for 23. Jeffrey Hammond had 3 for 25 and made 30 with the bat to sneak in with the batting mentions there. Brett Cadd and a bloke at Brabham who doesn't want to be identified both took 3 for 36, while Indavir Singh, the best performance of the weekend according to our stats man, he had 3 catches including 2 caught and bowled, meaning he had 2 for 21, 3 catches. He made 40 batting at 7, so well done there, Indavir. Good performance. Good performance by Bullsbrook and Caversham as well. They're both going to go through into the finals and will take first and second. We'll figure out who takes what where next week, but for now we can say Bullsbrook and Caversham are both through. Helena Valley on 48 points, 1.6. While Middle Swan are also on 48 points, 1.12, both on 8 wins there. Either of those win, they should secure a spot there, and it is in fact going to be the match of the round, and we'll have a look at that in just a sec. Carlisle and Brabham both on 7. SKLP out, and so too Forestfield. Matches this week, well, Carlisle taking on Forestfield. Carlisle need the win and should get it, but Forestfield, chance to spoil the party. Bullsbrook taking on SKLP. You'd expect in that 1v7 match that Bullsbrook up at Pickett Park will get the win there. Brabham taking on Caversham. That's a big match there. Two local rivals, despite the positions on the ladder. The intensity will be high, but without a doubt the match of the round for C grade. The winner will take third and going into the final round should be secure in the finals. Helena Valley at home against Middle Swan up there at Boyer Oval. Next week, Middle Swan taking on Forestfield. So if they can get the win this week and then back it up next, all the better. Helena Valley, though, they've got Carlisle next week. So big game, the biggest game probably, for me at least, in this round. All right, well, D grade. The note simply says, put your seatbelts on. Well, it's not as bad as that. It's not pretty, but it's not terrible. Southern Rossmoyne, 5 for 120 off 20, was enough to defeat Darlington, who haven't had the season that was probably hoped for. All out 62 there for Darlington competitive. Mount Lawley Inglewood only got 2 more, but they had 3 for 64 off 20 to defeat Les Murdy Mazenod, all out 63. So 62 to Darlington, 63 to Les Murdy Mazenod. Couple of low scores there. Scarborough, 5 for 171, defeating Dianella 149. And in the final match, 4 for 86 off 22 was all it took for City Beach to defeat Coolbinia West Perth, who were all out 85. Batting mentions, well, just a couple of them here. Chris Murphy, 73, not out. He'll hold his all-star spot. Harsh Patel had 55. Andre Burris had 49. And just as we saw before, a couple of games with no batting mentions at all. Coolbinia West Perth versus City Beach, and Les Murdy Mazenod versus Mount Lawley Inglewood, with 2, shall we say, suboptimal scores there. 2 Golden Ducks as well. Coolbinia West Perth up against Dianella's Golden Duck there, so both add into their collection. Who's going to be in the lead? I can tell you there is some movement on the Golden Duck ladder. And as I mentioned, I'm working on the wind-up. It is official. The association has said it will be the team with the most Golden Ducks on our pro rata basis will get the dubious honour of winning the Golden Duck Award. Well, trying not to join that list of people was Shane Attard. He had 5 for 12 with the ball. And I mention that simply because bowlers tend to get a few more Goldens than top order batsmen, but never say never. Aman Pathak had 4 for 18. Daniel Sims 3 for 13 as we get into the threefers. Kieran Fuchs 3 for 15. Sumit Patel 3 for 17. And then Craig Hagger had 3 for 24. And a shout out here to Dianella. We talk about community, we talk about the benefits of being involved in your local community and families and relationships, and we know the Huppings are a big family up there at Dianella. Well, last week here in the D grade we had Sean, Noah, Andre and Cade Burris all playing in the same side there, so fantastic effort and absolutely something to be proud of, no doubt. I hope you got a few photos. If you did, we'd love to see them. Add them to our video of the week. For the Warriors, well, no need to worry about videos of the week when you're City Beach and you've won 12 when you take out the minor premiership with a week to go. So that's what's happened there. City Beach, Green Range, minor premiers. Mount Lawley and Inglewood and Scarborough both on 9 wins there. Another battle for second, really critical here. Southern Rossmoyne have 8 and Dianella 7. They're realistically the only sides left in the hunt. There's Murdy Mazenod, Coolbinia West Perth and Darlington with an opportunity to spoil a few parties along the way. Mount Lawley Inglewood, well, they might be the surprise here because they're at home to Darlington. Southern Rossmoyne up against Les Murdy Mazenod in a big win there, or in a big match there. Dianella take on City Beach, and that realistically could be the end for Dianella if they can't get a win at home. Coolbinia West Perth take on Scarborough to round out the D-grade matches for this weekend. Well, that's it, Wayne Sowden. If you didn't notice already, you've already scored yourself a Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher. And we're going to take a break and be back in a few minutes' time because it's time to have a look at the Warriors and see who's performed well over the last week or so here on the Community Sports Show. You're with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, for the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show, proudly brought to you thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor, our platinum sponsors. We appreciate their support, as well as Barner Construction, Joey's Swan Valley Diner, and our good mates. How can I forget him? He's online there, he's convalescing. But if you've got a leaky pipe, he can fix it. PFG, Plumbing and Gas. Steve Abbott, thanks for your support. All right, well, that's it. We'll take a break and be back on the Community Sports Show for the second half here in just a moment.
Come gather round, it's a brand new week. The games have been played, now let's take a peek. Wickets are falling, cheers rise through the air. Heroes in the making, showing how much they all care. Highlighting legends from every grade. Tales of triumphs, they're never gonna fade. Hey, 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 hear the Warriors roar. Celebrating moments, always giving us more. Perth Swan Cricket, we rise and shine in the game of our lives. We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. On sun-soaked afternoons, legends come alive. Cricket bats swinging, they're ready to thrive. From every club with the glories untold, come join the story, let the magic unfold. Hey, 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 hear the Warriors roar. Celebrating moments, always giving us more. Perth Swan Cricket, we rise and shine in the game of our lives. We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. With every run scored and each ball that's bowled, a new story is made, it never gets old. We're more than a team, we're a family, we're one. Cricket's our joy, come and join the fun. Hey, 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 hear the Warriors roar. Celebrating moments, always giving us more. Perth Swan Cricket, we rise and shine in the game of our lives. We're doing just so. Here's to the teams, and here's to the fun. The Community Sports Show is our number one. Cheers to the players, to every last cheer. Weekly Warriors united, without any fear.
G'day everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the Community Sports Show for the Week 18 edition of the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association Review Show. Proudly brought to you thanks to Intersport Slater Gartrell and our platinum sponsors. ID Athletic for your sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise, and Vision Decor. Curtain blinds, awnings, even hybrid floorings. Talk to the team at Vision Decor about how they can keep you cool in summer and warm in winter through their great range of indoor and outdoor blinds. Well, speaking of outdoor, we saw some outdoor performances there during the break with our weekly Warriors video once again, and congratulations to all those who were included throughout the video, and a big thanks to the clubs and the photographers for putting the pictures and the content out there for me to be able to promote you and your clubs. There were 12 clubs this week, a couple down, but that's okay. Ups and downs, it does happen. And that's what we're about to have a look at here, because it is time. I've got 3 vouchers here. 3, in fact, 1, 2, 3. 3 Joey's Swan Valley Diner vouchers to give away, because it's time for the video moment of the week. And I've changed it up a little. A few clubs were posting and tagging and sharing. That sort of dropped off, so I'm going to go by what I've seen. And let's have a look now at the video moments for this week.
So 50?
50!
50! Raise the bat, son.
No, you definitely need it. Right. 84 balls after an apple.
Oh yeah! Quinion!
So well. 3 names in there. Who am I going to give it to? Well, this week's winner is, no doubt about it, it can be Quinton George of Allenbrook, bringing up his 5,000th run for the club. Congratulations, Q, fantastic effort. But you know what, viewers? I'll add that one to the collection, and I'm not done yet. These 2 young fellas, Andrew and will have a look at their performances in just a moment, but they've been recording, and you see, I smile, fellas, I do genuinely love your efforts. However, if you can get less of the crowd, more of the action, and a little zoomed in, that'd be fabulous. But because you've been contributing nearly every week, I want to recognise that. And it's also because of your performance, which I'll mention in a moment. So congratulations to Will Ho of Maylands for taking out another Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher there. And the last one goes to his brother, Andrew Ho of Maylands. Congratulations on taking out a Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher there. Congratulations to you all. It doesn't matter what time of day, night, you're feeling hungry. Joey's breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea or dinner, hot food, hot drinks, cold drinks, whatever you like. Head up to Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher, up to Joey's Swan Valley Diner on Great Northern Highway there. However, for all of the winners, I just need to point out that you've only got till the end of March to use these. So maybe over the long weekend, if you catch up with me, you can go up there. Anyway, you'll enjoy it no matter what time you get it. All right, now I mentioned E grade. Let's have a look at the scores as we continue the night. Carlisle 4 for 215 in 39.4 overs there, defeating Maylands. But hang on, I just said that Andrew and Will got a recognition. Well, Maylands 6 for 212 off 40. That's a very 212 off 40. Yep, good knock. Only beaten with a couple of balls to go. We'll find out in a moment why there's a mention. Belmont, well, we had Dave in here. Thanks for joining me last week, Dave. They put on 9 for 190 off 38 to defeat Swanview 6 for 188, who were competitive after, again, coming to the table a bit late in the season, but good effort there, Swanview. Caversham, well, Steve Abbott there talking about top of the table clash against Brabham. It wasn't to be last week. Caversham 9 for 128 going down to Allenbrook 1 for 41 off 32. And then SKLP in a low scoring reply were all out for 56 off 21, unable to chase down Brabham's 8 for 185. Now, batting mentions. Let's run through these. Ian Van Staden had 69 off 23. That is 8 fours and 5 sixes. So 60 odd there. 62 of the 69 coming off boundaries for the Rangers. Well done there, Ian. Prem Patel had 37. Vipin Mehta with 34. And geez, we're low here early, aren't we? Shiraz Baig had 33. While Aaron Dean and Chris Palanen of Swanview both had 36. That line's out of whack. Joey Quinlevin had 31 for Belmont. Reece Strawn had 41, and Dave Mason, inspired by his appearance here last week, had 37. Carlisle, Hayden Criven had 65, and Aaron Applegate 54 not out. What a tale of difference this is. Earlier in the night we were saying there were teams with no mentions. Now we're doing the mentions by team, and of course that means that we've only got Maylands left. And in a 132 run partnership at the top of the table for Maylands, Will with 75 batting at 1, and his brother Andrew with 57 batting at 2 for a 132 run partnership there. And that, my friends, and you got it on video, or at least your 250s, that's why you got the vouchers there. Well, Steve, you're celebrating, and I think Darren's trying to catch up with the quiz question from before. That's already been won, Wayne Sowden, but stick with me during the final drinks break. I'll ask one more question, Darren, so you could be right there. Although you could also be answering the question about first game in WA for Ian. Oh, so Ian Van Staden coming from Melbourne. Sorry, I'm just connecting the dots there between the script and the comments and my old grey matter. So Ian Van Staden, well, welcome from wherever you are from over there in Melbourne. I'm heading over there in July. Just booked something or locked something else in on the holiday today. All right, well, let's soldier on. It is the Golden Ducks. Steve, you're not going to like this. Close your ears. Caversham, another 2, including a Royal Duck. And this is where I smile because it was a Golden Duck, a Golden and a Royal. So the first ball of the first innings for the side, Darren Chandler getting his, not first, not second, not his third. Hungry Hippo got 4. 4 Royal Ducks. I'm not sure if that's a record in any competition. That'll be a question from my stat man next year. So well done there. Allenbrook had 3 Golden Ducks and Belmont with 1. So 6 for the grade there. Wow. You're up and you're down. You know, it's like life. Kush Sharma had a double hat-trick to get 4 for 17. Well done there, Kush. Jaden Garlick had 4 for 42 for Swan View. Joey Butler had 4 catches for Swan View as well, while Satish Insan took 3 for 3 off 3. Make sure I say that 3 correctly. Anil Mariah had 3 for 7 for Brabham, while a new name for me at least here, Carlo Keita, had 3 for 43 and 35 not out, so a good mention there. And as I said, DC with his 4th Royal. And yep, I did in fact mention the double hat-trick to Kush Sharma, 4 for 17. Thanks for reminding me, Steve. Caversham and Brabham, well, they're both on 11 wins, 2 losses, but just 0.2 difference, 1.3 to 1.1, which will finish on top. We'll find out soon. Rangers Rangers and then Belmont both on 9. So Maylands, if they are to get in, well, they've got some big asks here. They're 8 wins, 1 loss, or 8 wins and 1.16. So if they can get the win, potentially better percentage than both sides in 3rd and 4th. SKLP, Carlisle and Swanview all will sit out in the finals weeks. Maylands up against Swanview there, and this is a chance for Maylands. You need the win. Rangers up against SKLP. Rangers, I suspect, should get the win there. And then Belmont up against Carlisle. So the 3 sides there, Carlisle, SKLP and Swanview, depending on how results go, all have a chance to influence the E-grade finals. So turn up, show up, and see what happens, fellas. Top of the table clash, though. It is another one there. Caversham v Brabham in E-grade. Potential match of the week. I'll be in the neighbourhood, I suspect, so I might swing past, because I will go official now as I grab a quick drink. You may have noticed there is no broadcast listed for tomorrow. That's because I'm going to head around, check out a few of the exciting games and the finals situations for a number of clubs there, and drop off a few of these vouchers and prize packs so that they get used before they run out. Alright, well, I'm going to literally be back in 10 seconds. Just bear with me one moment while I stick that screen on, and I'll be back in a second. Dun, 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 dun. I just had to turn the light on, viewers. It is night time here in Perth, and it was getting a little dark in the studio, so sorry for all those seeing me for the first time. Not really. Good to see you all online. Thanks for joining me. Alright, let's get into it. F grade. A few big games here. Interesting stats. 9 for 173. Ascot, their 2nd consecutive score of 173, defeating Mount Lawley Inglewood 171. Pardon me. Yoko and Pilbara 182, defeating Southern Rossmoyne 123. Western Wolves took 20 overs to defeat West Coast, who put on 34 off 19, one of our lower scores of the season there. Sorry, Brooksy and the F-Troop at West Coast. Brabham 6 for 296 off 38. Well, they beat Dianella, who in their opening were only able to put on, were only able to put on 6 for 136. Batting mentions here, a few. Ishan Patel with 78, Nijal Patel with 65. Aaron Ward had 62, Matt Saliakis with 51, Cadell K with 50, not out. Matt was also not out, I should say. Garganpreet Gill had 44. Ankit Patel 41. Xavier Damhouse had 38. Akesh Patel had 37. And Greg McGilvray with 36. No Golden Ducks, but unfortunately when you put on 34, there's one or two in there for West Coast. In fact, let's call a spade a spade. We are not the White House press secretary here. We believe in truth in reporting. There were six ducks for West Coast. Dario Sorbello had 4 for 5 off 8. Muhammad Ali Dadurka, I gave him a mention at the top of the show. Congratulations again, Muhammad, on being named the Volunteer of the Month for WA Cricket there. He had 4 for 38. Dharamveer Panesar with 3 for 8. Amila Vithanarji 3 for 14. Thanuja Samara Singh 3 for 28. And before he went out and partied, he destroyed some wickets as well. Rob Meikle with 3 for 38. Top position here, not absolutely locked in, but it should go to Western Wolves. They're 12 and 3. Southern Rossmoyne are on 11, 3 and 1. Brabham 10, 4 and 1. So a loss there between them. Yoko and Pilbara are on 9. That will be the top 4. Mount Lawley Inglewood out on 7. Ascot, Dianella and West Coast also unable to make it. And I note there Greg flew from Wodonga for a function and played 1 game. So I'm going to have to scroll back there. You'll have to give me a surname there. I can't give him a shout out. Sorry, Scotty, I've moved on. And bright shiny things, as they say. All right, well, 0 golden, 6 normals. I've done the bowlers. Ladder here, Wolves on 12, Southern Rossmoyne 11, Brabham, Yokine, Mount Lawley, as I said, Ascot, Dianella and West Coast all will be out. Southern Rossmoyne take on Ascot, and that you suspect will go according to ladder positions. Dianella at home, I suspect, will also go down to the Wolves. Brabham up against West Coast, and that one will be a tough one for the Coasters. But the match of the game has to be Yokine Pilbara versus Mount Lawley Inglewood. That one there, Mount Lawley Inglewood need it just to stay in the hunt for 4th. So, Yokine, you want to bring your A game. Speaking of A games, Maylands had the bye and went into last week on 8 straight. They will have watched on as Uni, 9 for 148, lost to Scarborough, 3 for 149. Allenbrook, 6 for 125 off 32, defeating Helena Valley, 7 for 123. And there is the third side, because for the first 2/3 of the season I thought Helena Valley only had 2 sides. They've got 3, so they slid down the Golden Duck ladder. Allenbrook 6 for 125, defeating Helena Valley, as I mentioned, and SKLP 5 for 165, defeating Mundaring, all out 162. Best of the batsman was Stephen Matthews. He had 92 not out off 95 balls, batting at 3 for Scarborough. Dun, 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 dun. To have 60% of the score. A fantastic effort, Stephen. Chris Thomas of Mundaring, he had a good knock as well. He had 65 off 87. Upendra Patel had 55. And we saw during the earlier break Quentin George, the Q-man. He had 37 off 62, but when he scored his 19th run, he brought up his 5,000th run for the club. Well done there, Q. Dan Suk Gondaria, he had 30 not out. And Jack Anderson, well, Jack, I've seen your name in the stats. also in the running there somewhere abouts for the Association All-Stars. One Golden Duck though to Scarborough. Kalpesh Bandari was in fact the only bowler to get 3. He had 3 for 36 for SKLP. Allenbrook and Maylands both guaranteed to play finals here in the G grade, both on 10 wins and 2 losses. 0.7 separating them, so a big opportunity here for the minor premiership Maylands. Scarborough have 7, Helena Valley on 6 and Uni on 5. So those 3 battling it out for the last 2 spots, while Mundaring and SKLP again will have the chance to be the spoilers. And this is the last chance for Uni to spoil anything because they need the win and a big win against Maylands. It's the last chance for Uni, who have the last bye, so they'll be desperate. Maylands also desperate to get first, I suspect. Helena Valley taking on SKLP, and then Allenbrook up against Mundaring, while the Sharks will enjoy the long weekend off. They've got the bye this week. Alrighty, soldiering on. H grade. Did someone, and I'm just having a look across there, McGilvray, thanks Scotty. I'm always catching up, playing catch up because I don't have enough eyes. If you'd like to be a producer, sit in the corner or next room or out in the aircon in the lounge room there and maybe have a little headset and cue me up with tips. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, let's have a look at H grade because another competition, another grade where all the visitors won. Glen Forest 183 off 36 fell to a rebounding Carlisle, who put on 7 for 200. Yokine Pilbara at home lost 166 off 30 to Bayswater 190. Allenbrook 133 fell to Midland 183. Coolbinia West Perth 159 falling to City Beach 3 for 160 off 34 there. Best of the batsmen, Mohammed Zinedine with 68. Dennis Kirchner had 59. Jack Wheeler 52 not out. Azir Mahmood with 51. Then almost our highest. I know there's one more to come. 50 extras by the Rangers. 44 wides in there, Allenbrook. What the? If you're going to give away 50 runs and you lose by 50, I say it all the time, you have to question what's going on. Anyway, Wade Calhoun of Glen Forest, he had 44. City Beach thought they'd give the extras a shake. They had 44 of them, 36 wides to their collection. Bayswater Private and Lovepreet Singh, both with 42. Dylan Morgan had 35 with the bat and 4 for 9, while Lockie Teakle had 34 and 1 for 14. So both Dylan and Lockie doing enough to hold on to their all-star spots. Carlisle and Allenbrook bowlers, both clubs donating 34 runs to the opposition, and Joey Douglas almost as many. He had 33, but he's all off the bat. 3 Golden Ducks, none of these were off the bat. Coolbinia West Perth had 1 and Allenbrook with a couple. And by now, viewers, I'm sure if you're tracking them, you'll start to hear a few clubs get in repeat Golden Duck mentions here. What impact's that going to have? We'll find out in just a few minutes' time. Rishi Desai, 3 for 9 and 3 catches. And 65 at 8 for Yokine Pilbara. A fantastic effort there, Rishi. Matt Ellis had 3 for 31. Cooper Mansfield had 3 for 38 and made 45 with the bat. Also a good knock there. Now, when we have a look Connor Brown had 3 for 35 and 76 at 1 for Bayswater. So a few big mentions here. I love seeing that. Vishvash Chowdhury, a new name. Vishvash Chowdhury, he had 3 for 34. Vinod Chowdhury had 3 for 42 for Yokine, with Vinod also getting 3 catches. Matt Thomason had 3 for 41 for Carlisle. Jacob Sykes with 3 for 48 and 39 at 7. A good captain's knock there by Sykesy. And Trevor Hart chipping in with 3 catches for City Beach. Well, I'm going to call this one. No one's going to argue with me. City Beach. Not regular viewers of the show, but a big shout out to you all Green Range fans there. If you're online, say good day. They've taken out the minor premiership. They're 3 games clear with just 2 games to go. Midland on 10, Bayswater 9, Coolbinia on 8 and Carlisle 7. Those 4 looking to battle it out for the last 3 spots. Yokine, Pilbara, Glen Forest and Allenbrook all will sit out. Allenbrook take on Glen Forest this week. That one also a battle of the bottom. Not sure how you would phrase that any differently, but there you go. Midland take on Carlisle. A big a win here for Midland could secure them a home final, because in the other match, Bayswater taking on Coolbinia. Bayswater also looking for a win, as are Coolbinia. So those 4 sides, Midland, Carlisle, Bayswater and Coolbinia West Perth, all playing each other this week in a battle for the final. And then City Beach up against Yokine Pilbara. Long road trip there for the Yokine Pilbara side. All right, well, let's just do a quick time check there. Couple of minutes ahead. So what we'll do is take our final drinks break. Now, I gave a Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher away to, I'll get that there, to Wayne Sowden earlier for knowing which AFL side I barrack for. While I'm on the break, if you can correctly identify, now, let me think about this. What is the most recent shirt addition to our studio? There you go. Tell me in the comments during this break, and when I come back, if you're correct, we'll put you in the draw to pick up another Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher. I'll be back in just a moment here on the Community Sports Show.
Our hearts beat loud with a pulse full of pride. Across the Perth Swan region, the spirit's alive. Every swing of the bat, we're ready to thrive. Community's the key, all shapes and all sizes. No matter the grade, we'll take all the prizes. Let's swing for the fences, let's hit every note. With our friends by our side, hear the laughter and hope. From local stories that brighten our days to the world near and far, let's set it ablaze. Here's to the bowlers and all of the bats, the thrill of the chase and those midfield chats. In every grade we shout and we cheer. The PSCA spirit, it's loud and it's clear. The swings and the misses, we've seen them all, but it's the love of the game that makes us stand tall. The Community Sports Show, where we share the tales, all of the highs, the lows, the triumphs and fails. Knows ease in the groove with every shot that we play. In the Perth sunshine, joys. From the riverbank's beauty to the shore's bright and blue, in the heart of Perth, it's the love that we bring. With each swing of the bat, let's make history shine. Perth's one cricket community sports show. Together we
Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Good to have you with us here on the Community Sports Show. Proud to be here. I am Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live from the Community Sports Show studio for the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association Review Show, edition 18. Just a couple of weeks to go and we are into the finals, and it's the final stretch here as we just give a shout out to everyone involved in helping put together those videos. Thank you for your contributions. And during the break I asked a couple of questions. In fact, I asked one, and I can see Scott Sono there just chatting with a few people. During the break I asked a question: what is the newest shirt in the studio here? And I can see Scott Hall's had a couple of cracks and neither of those are correct. So I'll leave that as an open-ended question. First person to correctly identify it. And you may or may not see it above me or around me, behind my head there, down there, oh, down there, under the arm. What is the newest shirt? Good to have you there. All right, let's soldier on, because it's almost time to look at the Golden Duck tally. The All Association team, or the PSCA Association All-Stars, and to announce our Effort of the Week award winner for this week. Congratulations, as I said, to everyone involved in the Warriors, the Think Mental Health, whatever you've done. Well done. Well done to the I-Grade as well. They had 2 forfeits last week, or 2 weeks ago, but none last week, but there were only a few stats. So let's have a look. They're not terrible scores. We've definitely seen worse scores than this tonight. Mount Lawley Inglewood, 6 for 114, went down to SKLP, 9 for 156. Caversham, where are you, Steve? 100 off 28 fell to Middle Swan, 2 for 120 off 20. So Middle Swan getting 2 out of 2 last week. Coolbinia, and I say that as a Middle Swan man, full transparency here. And lots of other clubs go, oh, we got 4 from 4 or 6 from 6. Well, we only have 2, and they don't win too often together, so well done, Middle Swan. Coolbinia West Perth, 4 for 114, defeated City Beach. 9 for 113. Bayswater 9 for 180. That's a good knock, but they went down to Western Wolves, who chased that down for the loss of only 4 wickets in 30 overs, 4 for 181. Best of the batsmen, well, Western Wolves there, it is Tanmoy Mandel with 65 off 46. Sandeep Patol with 40. Then there were 38 extras by Caversham. And on behalf of Middle Swan, we say thank you. A third of our score there. And I say it about the bowlers all the time, don't give away extras, because you've got to chase them. Scott Bretland had 36. Kishul Pandoria had 35. Then Dipesh Budia, Darren Thompson, and AJ Kang all chipped in, and all of them were on 32 not out. 0 Goldens, a goose egg of Goldens, and just a single one bowling mention this week. It's for Coolbinia West Perth, Dane Peak with 4 for 12 off 8. 2 maidens, a 1.5 economy rate, and he chipped in with 22 not out. So good effort there by Dane. Ladder, well, I'm not going to call it yet. SKLP, they're 12. Wolves on 11. There will be one of those two. Mount Lawley Inglewood have 9. Then Coolbinia West Perth on 8. Middle Swan must win this week, and it's going to be a tough one because they're up against the ladder leaders. Well, City Beach, Caversham and Bayswater all play the spoiler roles. As I mentioned, Middle Swan in 5th need a win, but they're up against ladder leaders SKLP, who will want the win to secure the minor premiership. So a big ask at home for Middle Swan. Caversham up against Mount Lawley Inglewood, a chance for Mount Lawley Inglewood to set up a run at second spot if they can, depending on how the Wolves go. Coolbinia West Perth, well, they need the win as well. They're against Bayswater. You would imagine that they should get the win there. If Coolbinia West Perth win, then that is, regardless of the result, a win will knock Middle Swan out, I should say. And I'm getting a mention there. Caversham have forfeited against Mount Lawley. So, wow, Caversham have forfeited. Thank you very much for that update there. I appreciate that. Wow. You know what I love is the real-time connection. Thank you. Yeah. Secured finals with that is the call. Well, if you're going to do it, why not? Well, that is absolutely guaranteed. So, interesting call there. Well done, Mount Lawley Inglewood getting in. So it is really now down to Coolbinia West Perth and Middle Swan in that battle for 4th. Western Wolves up against City Beach. Western Wolves win and they'll lock in a home final and also potentially take first, although SKLP realistically I think have the edge over the 78s. Now, our final grade of the night, J grade. Les Murdy Mazenod, 195, a good knock. They've been in good form this year. But Ascot coming over the top with 7 for 251 off 40. Belmont fell 8 for 152 to Forestfield. All out 167 off 38 there. Dianella 151 off 38 went down to Bullsbrook 9 for 173 off 40. And in the final match for last week, SKLP 79 off 31 overs went down to Swanview 3 for 81 in 32. Now, I mentioned Scott Hall during the show. He came in, he collected a prize he won last year for footy tipping giveaway. It was actually an Australian rugby top there. He also took Luke Puskutchin's prize home. But last week Ascot played Les Murdy Mazenod. There was no Neil Weasel Worsley. I'm not sure what went on there. Maybe omitted is what my unnamed sources are telling me. And with no Weasel, Scott Hall became the destroyer. 96 off 91, batting at 3. Well done there, Scott. Great effort. Travis Carter had 70 not out. Dan Hardingham 68. And having a little break from second grade down in the one day as Josh Davies with 54 not out off 22. Yes, 22 balls for 54. Dianella. Now, I mentioned before a side had 50. Dianella take the cake this week. 54 extras. Enough to give Bullsbrook the win. And 18 wides, not bad. 9 no balls, not bad. 3 leg buys. I've given away more in a game myself. But Dianella, 24 runs. That is 4 overs worth of penalties contributing to their downfall there. Oh well, soldiering on. Liam Norwood had 49, Starlin Justin with 47, and the old warhorse himself, Neil Warden, also in contention. His name came up when I looked at all the stats, and we'll have a look at the All-Stars in a moment. He had 45, Greg Hooper 42, Manji Vajani with 40, and then rounding out our batting mentions for this week, it is the Les Murdy Mazenod Bowlers. It sounds like a dance group. Les Murdy Mazenod Bowlers. 35 they chipped in with. 1 golden duck, that went to Ascot. Speaking of Ascot, a big shout out thanks to Scott for this intel. Courtney Wilson, club skipper there, playing his 250th game for the club. Congratulations, Courtney. Best of the bowlers, well, best of the rest, let's have a look. Craig Johnson had 5 for 22 and 49 off 55, batting at 5. That's a great effort there. Starlin Justin, as I mentioned, he had 47 off 37 at 5 as well, and took 5 for 32. So both those players having a strong performance. Will Sullivan with 4 for 37. Howard Newitt 3 for 12. Caleb Butler 3 for 15 for Swan View, and Jason Barnes 3 for 21. CJ Chris Johnson 3 for 31, and Jamie Negro 3 for 42. And unfortunately, no Forestville bowler info was found at the time of the note preparation. Well, J grade. Let's give a congratulations, even though they lost, and only their second of the year. Les Murdy Mazenod are the minor premiers in J grade. 3 games clear of Bullsbrook, 4 of Forestfield, and then it's a battle for 4th with both Belmont and SKLP on 7 wins and 0.01 separating them. Ascot have 6. They need a few results to go their way, but realistically, Belmont or SKLP looking to get that last spot there. Dianella and Swanview both will play spoiler roles this week. Les Murdy Mazenod taking on Belmont, so that is a tough one. Belmont in 4th, need a win to stay in the hunt. SKLP taking on Dianella. Dianella need to step up and spoil the party for SKLP if Belmont need to stay in it. Swanview take on Bullsbrook. That one is going to be a tough one on the road there for Bullsbrook if they have to travel. And a brutal knock, says Scott Hall. And the final match sees Ascot taking on Forestfield, and Ascot again with a chance to spoil Forestfield's tilt at the finals. Alright, well that is all of the grades. I've still got one Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher left to give away. The question is, what is the newest shirt in the studio here? First correct answer will take that. Otherwise I'll add it to the pool to give away over the next couple of weeks. Alright, let's have a look at the All-Stars. Can I say this with a smile, the Paul Fernie Local Loan Allenbrook PSCA Association All-Stars. And don't panic, Paul Fernie Local Loan Allenbrook will not be the descriptive title. It is in fact the Community Sports Show PSCA Association All-Stars proudly sponsored by Paul Fernie, local loan Allenbrook, Slater Gartrell, Intersport Slater Gartrell, the PSCA chipping in as well. Thank you to them all for their continued support. And just one change, how long it will remain in effect remains to be seen. I put a post up today. I am dissecting everything. Batsmen, bowlers, keepers, fielding, all-round efforts. And we will lock in. We will make next week in fact, I might even go incognito as of this week. We put a team up this week. That is the team of the week. One change, Wes Morton out at for Bayswater there. He drops out and Taylor Tobias, a fellow Bayswater player, comes in as the keeper for the time being. So Taylor, you're not locked in yet. I'm looking across all the grades and we'll have a look at how that pans out. But for now, Taylor Tobias in, Wes Morton out. A couple of players secured their spots. Lockie Teakle, Dylan Morgan, Chris Murphy. Brett Reinholdston with his 3 feet chipped in enough to hang into a bowling position there. It is all going to be sorted out and the final team announced at the association wind-up on the 27th, it could be the 28th of March, whatever that Friday night is. All right, well, it's time to award the effort of the week. Not only do they get a Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher, although it could be 2 if no one claims this one in the next 5 minutes. They get the Joey's voucher. They get the Intersport Slater Gartrell voucher as well. And they get the exclusive ID Athletic Community Sports Show singlet and bucket hat combo, a prize valued at over $100 each and every week, given away here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Purslong Cricket Association review show. And well, there's been lots of good performances. There's been hundreds, there's been fifers, there's been all sorts of performances. However, putting my adjudicator's hat on, as I have to do, and I mean, we can look at Kush Sharma. He's 4 for 17 as a double hat trick. DC with his 4th Royal. Didn't get it on camera though, DC, but we appreciate you having got that and letting us know. We've got Rishi with 3 for 9 and 65 at 8. We've got, who was it earlier, with Mike Denon 40 not out at 10 and a 2 for. Big questions to ask, and it's like the All-Stars. Who's in, who's out, who wins? It's a tough decision, and every week I have to make it. And this week I have decided that the winner of the effort of the week goes to, and it is a H-grade player from Yokai and Pilbara, Rishi Desai. 3 for 9 with the ball, 3 catches, and 65 at 8. That is the sort of all-round effort that we're looking for people in the Association All-Stars. So a great effort to you there, Rishi. I'll organise to get that pack out to you in the next week or so. Well, that is it. There is nothing more left to say. I've said it all. A few of you out there have said a few things, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I want to thank you all. I mentioned earlier during the show, I'll reinforce, I am not broadcasting tomorrow. It's meant to be a lovely day. I'm going to get out and about and try and get a few games under my belt, just get a bit of footage or some pictures at a few of the games that will potentially decide finals. I'll give away a few of the, or not give away, I'll give out a few of the prizes that we've got there. Speaking of which, and I say this with a smile, If your name is Sean Saunders, Pat Carney, Wayne Sowden picked it up tonight, Sandeep Brar, AJ Stridham, Ashik Nafiz. I've got a collection here. Chase Emmons, you asked what it was. That's what it is. It's a voucher. You've got one there, as does Michael Edwards of West Coast. Quentin George of Allenbrook. Two more there. Will Ho, and I know the last one will be Andrew Ho. So if you want your Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to shout my cricket. No, I won't. I would never do that. But they will lapse. They run out at the end of March, so you've only got 5 weeks left, or 4.5 weeks left to use them. You need to collect them. I'll try and get in touch with you. No one's claimed the other one, so we'll give that away during the week. Wherever you are across the globe, I am Noel Knowlesy Johnston. Thank you for joining me here tonight, each and every week, Friday night, for the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. Proudly brought to you thanks to ID Athletic for your sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise. And a message to my darts team, I've ordered our shirts. And to Vision Decor. Curtains, blinds, awnings, even hybrid floorings. Vision Decor. Great products, great prices, because they're great people. All right, that's it. Till next week. If I don't see you around the grounds, wherever you are, please take care, stay safe in these troubled times. Be nice to yourself and be nice to those around you too. See you soon.
Tune in every week to the show we adore. From the heart of Perth to the world beyond, let's hear your roar. Perth Swan Cricket, let's make it clear. The community sports show brings us the cheer. Batting, bowling and fielding with flair. Each game is a story for the players out there. Riding the highs, embracing the lows with passion and pride. That's how this game flows. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us. Let's take a peek. Hey! Breakdown of the action. Listen to the crowd. Cheers for the wicket. Oh, they're screaming loud. Cricket's not just a game. It's a sight to behold. Stories of legends, both young and the old. No matter the grade, we cover it all. With every wicket taken, we rise and we fall. Across the grounds of Perth, we gather and share memories of triumph, skill, and the players' great flair. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us. Let's take a peek. Hey, hey. Together we rise, united and strong. With every strap pulled tight, we all sing along. Commentary electric with stories that soar. This week's highlights leave us hungry for more. Catching every moment, we live for the fight. Every player's battle, our hearts feel it right. It's the PSCA Review Show, bringing you magic and many a treat. Feel the thrill and the pain and even the heat. Awards and recognition for all every week. Come on, join us. Let's take a peek. So tune in each Friday. Don't miss the show. for all that's exciting, the hype and the glow. Thanks to the sponsors who believe in the game. Your support and pride have earned you the fame. To Perth and beyond, we're proud to declare the PSCA preview show is tops everywhere. With bats and with balls, we're ready to roll. Join in the action.